So these are going to be your triangle inequality notes. So your foldable kind of folds like a fortune teller, so make sure you fold it, just fold the corners down. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to determine if three sides make up a triangle. And so that's the is it a triangle piece. And so what you're going to do is you're going to add the small and medium length and see if they are bigger than the larger one. So take the two smaller side lengths, add them together. If that sum is greater than the largest one, then you have a triangle. If it's equal to, it's not a triangle. If it's less than, it's not a triangle. Okay, so let's practice. So if we look at example 1, where we want to determine if the following side lengths could form a triangle. So we know 8 is the small side, 17 is the medium, and 24 is the large. So we're just putting them in numerical order. So what we want to do is we want to add 8 plus 17, and then we want to see if that is larger than 24. And so if you add 8 and 17, you end up with 25. And so 25 is indeed greater than 24. So the side lengths 8, 17, and 24 actually make a triangle. So yes, this one does make a triangle. So let's look at example 2. Now, we have two numbers that are the same, so it doesn't matter which one is the small or the medium. So I'll just make this 3 the small, this one the medium. Doesn't really matter. And then this one the large, because that is the biggest number. So we want to see if we add these two, is it greater than the biggest one? So we do 3 plus 3. And we want to determine, is that greater than 7? Well, 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. And 6, is it greater than 7? No. So that's false. So this one is not a triangle. And it wouldn't be a triangle just because the two sides would not close to make it a triangle. Alright, so now if I look at example 3, what I want you to be careful of is the numbers are not always given to you in small, medium, large order. So you got to pay attention to that. So here, the 7 is actually the small. The 35 will be the number that's in the middle. And the 41 is the large. So make sure you pay attention and don't always assume that small, medium, large is always in order. So, again, we're just going to add 7 and 35 and see if it's greater than 41. So when I add 7 and 35, I get 42, and 42 is greater than 41. So therefore, these side lengths do make a triangle. Alright, so let's go on and let's talk about how to find the range of the third side. And so what this means is I was given two sides of a triangle, and I need to find, well, all the possible values of the third side. Now, this isn't going to give you the exact third side. It's just going to give you the numbers that possibly can work. And so in order to do that, we're going to set up inequality. And the first number in the inequality is where we're going to subtract the two numbers given. And then we're going to have less than x less than, and then whatever the sum is if I add the two sides. So, for example, in example 4, you have 3 and 11. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract 3 and 11. And make sure you always do the biggest number minus the smallest number because you want to keep the value positive. So we're going to do 11 minus 3. So we have our 11 minus 3, which is 8. And then we're going to do our 11 plus 3, which is 14. And so, if we had to find the range of our third side for the inequality, it is 8 is less than x, which is less than 14. And what that means, x, which is your third side, can be between 8 and 14, but does not include 8 or 14. Alright, so we have here that x is the third side, and remember we can't get an exact number, but we know what number it falls in between. And so when it doesn't have to be integer, it could be like 8.2 to 13.999. Any of those values work. Alright, so let's try our next example. We have the numbers 28 and 31, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to subtract the two numbers, then we're going to add them and come up with our range. So when we subtract 31 and 28, you end up with 3. You add 31 and 28, you end up with 59. So if we have to write our range, we know that our x value is going to be in between 3 and 59. So 3 is less than x, is less than 59. And this is the inequality used for the range of the third side. So this should tell you that any number between 3 and 59 will work. Alright, so pause your video and go ahead and find the range for the third side for number 6. So if we subtract the two values and then add the two values, we end up with 17 and 31. So we know that x has to be in between 17 and 31, where it says 17 is less than x is less than 31. Alright, so now let's determine how to order the angles. And that's just trying to order them from least to greatest or greatest to least. So for your reference, the smallest angle is always opposite the shortest side. So if you can find the smallest angle, go across and hit the side that is opposite it, and that's going to be the shortest side. That doesn't necessarily tell you how the length of the shortest side, you'll just know it's the shortest side. And so, like with the smallest, the largest angle is always across or opposite the longest side. So, in our sample problem, we want to order the angles from least to greatest. So this is my suggestion. When you start off with your triangle and you have your 3 sides, make sure you mark them small, medium, and large. So in order to find the smallest angle, AB, this one that's 17 meters, is our smallest side. And so we're just going to look for the angle that is opposite it or across from it, which would be here, which is that angle C. So angle C has to be the smallest. So if we had to order the angles from least to greatest, angle C is the smallest. Okay. And so the middle angle is going to be across from the middle side. So the middle side is our 20-meter side, or side BC, and the angle across from it would be angle A. So angle A is the one in the middle. And then AC, or the 24-meter side, is our longest side. And so the angle across from it would be angle B. So then angle B would be our greatest. And so now we have put them in order from least to greatest. Just be careful that you always are mindful of what order they're asking for, because sometimes it does switch around. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is order the sides. And it's pretty similar to ordering angles. The shortest side is always going to be opposite the smallest angle. And then the longest side is always opposite the largest angle. So it's important that we make sure we have all 3 angles in a triangle so we can really determine which one's the smallest and the largest. So if we look at our example here, we have 2 angles in the triangle, and this isn't going to help us And this is where mistakes come in when students just try to use these two numbers. 59 is the largest now, but how do we know if it's the largest of all three? 53 is the smallest now, but we don't know if that's the smallest of all three. So your first step, and the thing that I recommend, is if you have a triangle with two angles given, you need to always find the third. So remember, all the angles of a triangle add up to 180. So we can just subtract the 59 and 53 from 180 and get the measure of angle D. So when we do that, angle D is 68 degrees. So now we can identify the small, medium, large. So 53 is going to be the small. 59 is now the medium. And 68 is the large. So now be careful. We want to order the sides from greatest to least. And so remember, the sides of a triangle are segments, and so we name them with two letters. So here, we want to go greatest to least, so make sure remember the order. So we need the biggest one first. So we're going to go across from the 68, and that's side EF. So you can do segment EF. Or you could have done FE, either one works. Okay, so that's the longest. Alright, so then across from the middle angle will be the middle side. And so go across from there, that's side DF. Or segment DF. And then across from the smallest angle at 53 degrees, we go across, and that's segment DE, or side DE. Okay, so now we put the sides of these triangle in order from greatest to least. Now, I don't know the lengths of these sides. All I know is what order they'll go into. Alright, and that's it.